This lesson will cover how to prepare the port sampling data for entry into TUFMAN and how to add and edit port sampling data. If the port sampling data sheets have not been registered, then this must be done as a priority before entering the data. Refer to the lesson on data registry if you are not clear on this process. So let's click on the port sampling button in the main menu and then add sampling button on the data list screen, and that opens our data entry screen. Now we need to ensure that the header data on the data form is filled in correctly and completely. It is this information that allows the data to be linked to the correct license and to relevant log sheets and any observer data that may have been collected. For entry into TUFMAN, you need to check that the number of species has been correctly tallied into the box at the bottom of the data form. So, for our example, we'll firstly enter the header data from the top of the hard copy of the port sampling data form. So the port is Majuro, the sampler is Todd Dog, there he is. The assistant is Bill Kelpie. The vessel is the Cheltenham. The departure date for the trip is the 1st of March 2009. The return date for the trip is the 7th of March 2009, and the sample date is the 7th of March 2009. Normally you would fill in the latitude to and from, however we'll leave that blank for this example. The number of fish we'll enter is 2. Number of hours sampled we'll leave blank. Note that this is not on the data form, and so you can only fill it in if it's been noted by the sampler on the form. Okay, let's now try to link the data. So we'll see if we can link to a license ID. At this point there isn't anything to link to. It's not making a match. Click to Unloadings data. Again, nothing available. Log sheet match. Now we do have a log sheet that we can match to, so we can select that. National fleet match, and again no. So we've done all the linking that we can at this point. Obviously there seems to be some information missing, so we might want to check that later on, take a note. Okay, once the header information is entered, then we can commence entering the details of the port sampling. For our example, we will simply enter details for 2 fish. However, you would of course carry on and enter all the fish that are filled in on the sampling form. Right. The line number is the number pre-printed onto the port sampling form next to each data line and goes from 1 to 50 for each form. For line number 1, the species is big eye tuna. It has a length of 85 centimeters from upper jaw, and we'll select that from here, from upper jaw to caudal fork. So the code is UF. The recorded weight on the data form is 120 kilograms, and the weight code is gilled and gutted. And this fish is to be exported to Japan. Okay, line number 2. The species is a generic shark. So that's SHK. and we can check that using our drop down menu. So sharks unidentified, and the recorded length for the shark is 135 centimeters, measured from the upper jaw to the caudal fork, so UF again. The weight 45 kgs trunk weight. So we select trunk weight from our drop down menu, which is right at the bottom. And the destination, it's destined for the local market. Which is not on our list. So you can see that if you try to enter a country of export that doesn't exist, you'll get a message saying that that's not permitted. So we'll take it out of there and we'll tab through and put it into other, and we'll put local in there. Okay, so at this point, even though we haven't finished entering all the data on the port sampling form, we'll save and exit. This action returns us to the data list window, and we can see that there is now an entry that corresponds to our vessel and dates, and that's here. So if we select that record and click on the Edit Sampling button, we reopen the data entry window, and we can now complete the data entry. In the next section of the data entry screen, we will record that all the tuna were unloaded and measured. So we'll click that button there, but we will not check the billfish box. If it is noted on the form that the data sheet has been checked by a supervisor, check the click box, but note that there is no field on the data form that records this information. Finally, in the comments section, we will record from our data sheet 3 yellowfin tuna that were not sampled. Also note in this section if the sampler checked the fish hold. So we'll put a comment in here, fish hold not checked. The totals check section of the data entry screen will be dealt with in a separate lesson, so at this point we'll simply save and exit and return to the data list window. That concludes this lesson.